behind those two, but not that far behind. That if he would have 2 great weeks of practice, he certainly could be the #2 guy. But if we had to play tomorrow, Willie would be the starter, and Geiger and Hopgood would probably split the 2 reps.
And how have you been? How much have you adjusted your playbook to include more running games or anything like that this year?
Well, we need to run the football more, and we talked about that all spring. That you lose a 3-year starter at quarterback in Tyler Sheehan. We need to be a more balanced offense. We need to spread the ball around more, and we need to be more physical up front and run the ball better. And we're working hard at that. And that needs to show up when the games hit in September. So we have devoted certainly more time to try to become a more physical offensive line and to try to run the football certainly much more efficiently than we did last year.
And with the plan with the new running game, is it involve is there a set heavy amount of carries for the starter versus the backup, or
again, I'm not caught up in that we're going to run the ball 30% of the time, 40, 50. I think the whole thing is, if we became the type of offense we were last year, that people start removing linebackers and playing us in nickel, we have to efficiently be able to run the football and make people concerned that they can't defend us that way. Now, if teams are going to stick that extra guy in the box and we're going to have one-on-one matchups across the field, then we're going to be a throw-first team. But I always say running the ball better doesn't necessarily mean running it more. It means when you have the looks to run it, that you take advantage of those looks. And I think that's something that we have to prove as an offense. Certainly if you're breaking us down on tape from a year ago, you're much more concerned with stopping our passing game than our running game. And again, with our change in personnel, we have to become a more balanced offense.
And how does that change working out in a scrimmage tomorrow versus working out in practice?
It doesn't change it at all. I mean, it's just we're playing with 2 tight ends a little bit more than we did a year ago, and it's not that we didn't want to do those things a year ago, that we just feel we have better depth at tight end than we had last year. That Nick Reeke's come back in great shape. Alex Baer is really performing well, and now we have 2 guys that we feel are playing at a pretty good level. And then DeMarc Jenkins came back stronger than he's been, and Tyler Beck, who's a freshman tight end, has done some good things too. So, we at least go 3 and 4 deep now in the depth there, whereas a year ago we pretty much had Jimmy and Nick, and when Jimmy got hurt, it became hard to run 2 tight end sets.
And what's been the biggest surprise for you so far through camp so far?
I don't know if there's any surprise. I think there's more instances that we play what I call good football. And I said this to the team yesterday. On defense, every play they want a sack or an interception, and on offense, every play they want a 20-yard gain or a touchdown. And what I look for is good football. That all 11 guys on both sides of the field do their job, do what they're coached to do, and there's a lot of 3, 4, 5-yard plays. And if you can play good, solid football and then occasionally make the sack or make the interception or make the big play, that's what good football teams do. What I don't want to see is guys cut loose in our backfield, guys running free down the field. Even if you're making big plays, it's not because you're doing things well, it's because there's major breakdowns on the other side of the ball. And I think what I'm most pleased with so far this camp is we have had fewer of those type of plays.
So there's been, from this point this year, from this point last year, there's been more good football, and so you say the team's more prepared at this point than they were last year?
I don't want to say more prepared. I mean, we certainly felt that we were tracking in the right direction a year ago, but I think we're more consistent, more solid across the board maybe than a year ago. But last year we had some very exceptional players that allowed us to win 7 games and get to a bowl. I mean, we don't have a receiver right now the level of Freddie, and we're playing a new quarterback, and certainly Jamal Brown and Jarrett Sanderson and guys like that you just don't replace. I mean, those guys played at a high level for a very long time here. And do we have guys that are capable of getting to that level? Absolutely. Are they there right now today? No. And that's what we're working towards.
And then just moving on to your kicking game, saw had a transfer from Michigan, Brian Wright. Talk about what he's brought to the kicking competition. Is it still open between the 3 guys? Or?
I mean, right now, if we played today, Brian Wright would be kicking off. Brian Wright would be handling the PAT field goal. and the punting job really is the one that's competitive, and that's between Jerry and Brian. So Brian's going to have an obvious impact on our kicking game this year. Whether he handles two or all three of them is really what's the only issue right now.
And Coach, one last non-football question, I guess. Who picks and controls the music that's playing during practice?
Not I. So I don't. Anytime you hear some, some 70s and 80s and some little Michael Jackson or words and verses I know, I get a smile out of it. Those guys called those oldies. That was current when we were growing up. But I let the players pick that as long as it's clean and not offensive. What gets them excited is fine with me.
All right, thanks a lot.